to Wisdom with Grace Yoga. This is Sophie, your manifesting yogini. Today we are moving through yoga flow to manifest money. There's nothing wrong with wanting more money. It's a tool we all need in this reality. There's a lot on YouTube on the topic of manifesting money. I just wanted to take a moment to share my perspective before practice so you understand the direction I decided to go with this video. What I've noticed about money is once all your basic survival needs are met, the only thing money can potentially offer is more options and therefore more choices. You've heard the expression, beggars can't be choosers. More money doesn't necessarily equate more wealth. I want to say I am not a manifesting coach, but I personally don't agree with the idea we carry limited beliefs. In my opinion, every belief can be limiting or not, depending on your perspective of it. Sometimes what can exist within us is this polarity of preferences, where we want lots of money, but we're uncomfortable with decision making or making a commitment. Having this contradiction within ourselves is okay, and there's nothing wrong with it, and it's not necessarily going to manifest one way or the other. But when we desire to manifest money, more options, this can be our soul's desire to reconcile this contradiction. So today in our practice, we are going to explore this idea of decision making or commitment. Before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button to let me know you like what I'm offering. If you choose to give today, I have links below for that, and visit wisdomwithgrace.com to read more about yogic philosophy and how it relates to manifesting. Link below for that as well. I recommend turning on some of your favorite music for this practice. The lawnmowers are a little loud in the beginning. I apologize. They do clear out as the practice continues. On my blanket, but we're going to start lying on our bellies. Sorry, Minnie. And this blanket is here. We'll use a blanket today. And I have a couple blocks here which you don't necessarily need to use. But if you're planning on making this practice, if you're committing, deciding to practice yoga, I recommend getting yourself a pair of blocks and bringing your forehead right to the edge of the blanket just so our nose is not getting squished by the floor. And what you can do with your arms here is reach them out forward. And you can stay right here, the thumbs facing up, or you can take a peek at your elbows and just make sure they're right aligned with the shoulders, and bringing your palms together. This might be where you stay. So already in this practice, we're making choices and bringing the hands right behind your head. So everything in this practice today is an invitation. And taking a deep cleansing breath in and out. Allowing the body to settle here. Allowing the thoughts to settle. And if you can hear these lawnmowers, forgive me, it's lawnmower season here in Maine. Observing the space around you, the sounds, the smells. Observing the physical body, noticing here where there's any stagnancy. Observing the breath, not changing it, not fixing it. If you are struggling with your finances or getting your basic needs met, or you're living off of scraps, hopefully this practice can give you some stress relief. We're going to try to relax and have some fun today. One more deep cleansing breath here. And then slowly reaching the arms forward. Bringing the elbows right underneath the shoulders into a Sphinx posture. You can just move the blanket out of the way. And from your Sphinx, imagine dragging the elbows back towards the feet, pressing firmly through the tops of the feet. If it feels okay, bringing the toes together. And from here, inhale, chin lifts towards the seat. Chin lifts as much as your range of motion can move you. And then exhale, chin down. Finding some movement with breath. Inhale, chin lifts. Exhale, release down. Moving here with your own breath. And then pausing with the chin at neutral and moving the head side to side. Exhale one way, inhale the other way. So we're going to use the idea of affirmation today. The affirmation or the mantra for abundance is Om Shrim, which you're welcome to use. But I like to use my own language and my own voice when creating affirmations. I feel more of a shift than necessarily using traditional Sanskrit, although that can create a shift as well. So the one I like to use for money is I got paid today. Today I got paid. I'll use that one. Today I got paid. And then coming up from here, tucking the toes. I told you we're going to have some fun today. Coming right up onto hands and knees. Into a tabletop position, spreading the fingers generously, wrists right underneath the shoulders, knees a little bit behind the hips, and inhale, moving in through some cat-cows, belly drops, gaze lifts, exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, if that's making you smile, then good, doing its job. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. And making some choices here, moving the body in any direction you feel like you need, maybe some more attention, maybe shifting the hips side to side. You can keep the regular cat-cow if that felt good to you. So when we're talking about making decisions in our practice, talking about the word in Sanskrit, viveka, which means wise discernment. And viveka is used to describe discernment between the real and the unreal. But we can use it, I think, for any sort of decision making, any choices we make. So from here, tuck your toes under, all 10 toes under, big toes together. And start to sit your hips towards your heels. Make sure all 10 toes are under, and then inhale, coming forward. So you might just stay right here, moving slowly into this happy toe pose. I made that name up. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, releasing the hips back. And you moving slowly here. And making another choice. Maybe you want to add a little bit more sensation through the toes, lifting the hips and settling them back down to the heels. And moving up and down until you want to commit to one place and hold. So maybe your hands are still on the floor, sitting the hips back and hold. One thing you can do is bringing the blanket here on top of your calves and sitting right on top of your heels. So make your commitment and choice, and we'll reside here in stillness, breathing into the sensations. And at any time you can change your mind, because a commitment is just a choice that we make again and again. And if you are upright, you can bring your hands to your shoulders and start to circle out the elbows in one direction. Notice if you broke your commitment so you could start doing what I'm doing. Is that feeling of missing out coming up? And then bringing your hands to the floor, going right back through, untuck the toes. If you move the blanket, we'll bring that up to the front of the mat. We'll use that later. And just pat out the feet a few times. And then we'll come to seated on the heels. And bringing your hands behind you. They can be on blocks. Tuck your chin to the chest. Press into the shins to lift the hips up towards the sky. It's literally the sky today. Sometimes it's the ceiling. And if it feels okay for you, you can open up through the throat. And then exhale, sitting the hips back down towards the heels, coming forward. Back into a tabletop position, walking the hands just a palm's distance forward. Fingers generously spread, rooting through all 10 knuckles of the hands. And then start to drag the hands in towards each other. Tuck the back toes under, elbow creases slightly forward. Lifting the hips, pressing the hips up and back, down dog. Back is straight, making the shape of this inverted V. Connecting to the breath, observing the sides of the body. See if you can lengthen through the sides of the body, pressing the floor away, lifting the hips a little higher. I really hope that lawnmower isn't as loud as it is to me for you guys. If it is, I apologize. And press back through the hips, soft knees, gaze towards the fingers, step forward, small steps, all the way to a forward fold, ragdoll at the front of your mat, generous bend through the knees, let the head and neck relax. Bend your knees as much as possible so you can bring the chest, even come down into a low, low squat to the thighs, chest to the thighs. And then try to keep that connection of chest to thighs as you straighten through the legs into a forward fold. And then bringing your hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows in. Soft knees, flat back, inhale. Rise up to standing. When you arrive, Maybe come into a little bit of back bend. You can bring your hands to your low back, press through the heels, soft knees. Lift the hips, hip points up towards the sky, chest up towards the sky, maybe open up through the throat. And then exhale, slowly making your way to Tadasana, mountain pose. And since we have this blanket here, we're going to use the blanket for our yogi squat, Malasana squat. This is Minnie's first day outside. She's a little squeamish. Bring the heels to the blanket. We have a beautiful day here in Maine. Toes are slightly pointed out, feet are pretty wide, and just slow motion lowering down into the squat. How slow can you go? As you move down into the squat, press your knees away, like you're trying to press a doorway away from you. And then lower down. I don't know if that made any sense, but I said it. Drop the tailbone, lift through the chest. Elbows press into the knees gently press back. And then drop the hands, chin tucks under, press through the feet, roll up one vertebrae at a time, slowly segmentedly. Inhale, arrive into your Tadasana, mountain pose. Lose the blanket, or bring it to the middle of the mat if you like to have it padding for your knees later on. Coming to Tadasana at the front of your mat, feet together or apart if you need a little bit more space. If your hamstrings are a little bit tighter, stretching the fingertips towards the floor, broadening through the collarbones, feeling the arches of the feet lift. Lift and spread your toes and then relax them back down to the ground. Inhale, circle sweep the palms up towards the sky. Back of the palms come together, swan dive, fold forward, leading with the heart, back with the tailbone. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to shins. Elongate through the spine. Bring your hands right to your hips like we did earlier. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale. Root through the heels, rise all the way up, hands to low back. Maybe come into a bit of a back bend and then exhale right through to Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, all the way up, arms come out to come up. Exhale, I got paid today. We'll move through that. Inhale, reach up. I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. Making money is as easy as breathing. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart center by your sides. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. Inhale, I got paid today. Exhale, I got paid today. And we'll hold here into Tadasana, mountain pose. Adding on, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Big step forward with the left foot, coming into a low lunge. Hands on blocks if the floor feels far away. Gentle lift of back, inner thigh, lifting high up onto the ball of the back foot, elongating through the spine. Releasing the hands to the floor, stepping the right foot back to meet the left. Palakasana, plank pose. The head is the highest point in your plank, outer hips firm in. Shift forward onto the toes, drop the knees down, keep the head lifted, elbows draw back towards the back of the room, lowering all the way down to the belly. Hands by your side, tops of the feet to the mat, press into the feet, squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, rise up, cobra. Exhale, slowly release down, tuck your back toes in, strong. You're feeling strong, coming right back up to plank or onto your knees. Exhale, press the hips back, unfold, down dog. Connecting back to the breath. Pressing back to the hips, soft knees, travel forward however you like to do so. Step, hop, jump, forward fold, press through the feet, flat back, inhale, rise all the way up. Elbows draw down, perhaps back bend, palms to the sky. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot steps back, big step. Blocks underneath the hands if you need. Imagine drawing both feet into each other and then allowing the hips to drop so you feel that hip flexor stretch through the front of the hip. Releasing the hands down, step back, plank. Lower down, however you like to do so. Inhale, arch up. Exhale, press up and back. Down dog. And I want to offer some gratitude for choosing this video today if you're still with us. Bring the toes to connect, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Toes facing down. Exhale, draw knee to nose. Shift forward so the shoulders are right over the wrist. Step forward between the hands and drop the back knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Ground through the back foot. Hands reach towards the sky. Bringing the left wrist right behind the right. Palms come together. These are all invitations for the body. See if you can bring the arms right behind the ears. Draw the rib cage in. Inhale, exhale, side bend over to the right. Really squeeze this left glute so you feel it through the front of the hip. And ground the front heel. Inhale, return back to center. Bring your hands to the blocks. So for me, I like to have the blocks on the inside of the foot. I find I get more of a stretch here, but you can leave the hands on the outside of the foot if that feels like a stretch to you. We're going to tuck the back toes under, straighten through both legs, come into a pyramid pose, a wide-legged pyramid pose, pressing the right shin forward, and notice how the left hip draws forward as you do that. And if you have a little extra here, you can take your hand and move that to the side to create some space in your body. And if your hands are on blocks, bringing your right hand to the outside of the right foot, either on a block. There are 3 settings. Rotating the left heel to the left. Left arm sweeps up finding a bit of a twisted Trikonasana pose. Trikonasana. Triangle. So normally triangle is more of a side bend. We're bringing more of a bit of a twist, maybe finding a little bit of an inner thigh stretch. And if you want a little bit more of a stretch through the shoulder, option here to bring the left palm forward, reach the left palm overhead. So there's options here in our Trikonasana to make it whatever we want it to be. We can make it more of a passive stretch, keeping the right hand on the block, or perhaps reaching the right hand forward, working our core. This is a bit challenging. And then inhale, using the core, reaching all the way up to standing, turning right toes out, left toes are in, bending, softening through the front knee into a warrior two. Flip the right palm up, reach the fingertips forward, up and back to reverse. Exhale, extended side angle, bringing the right elbow to a thigh, to the inside of the right leg, to the outside of the right leg. Lots of options for you, lifting the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Gaze may stay forward or perhaps gaze towards the thumb. And again, you can reach the palm overhead. Find your bus stop, as a teacher would say to me. And I love that analogy. So ground through the back foot. Inhale all the way back up to warrior two. Windmill hands right, then left. Step back. Plank flowing through your vinyasa of choice. Moving mindfully, intentionally. And we'll all arrive in down dog. Lift up high onto the heels, soften through the knees, press the hips away, grounding through all 10 knuckles, and then release the heels right in line with the pinky toes. Not important that the heels touch the ground, not important that the knees are straight. What's important always in practice is to honor your body, honor where you are that day. From here, connecting the toes together, left leg reaches three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shift the shoulders over the wrists, step forward between the hands, and drop the back knee down. Untuck the back toes, or you can keep them tucked if that feels better in your knee. Inhale, reach. Into your crescent. Right wrist crosses behind the left. Palms come together, interlace the hands. Reach up. And then exhale, side bend over the right. Keep squeezing that right glute. So we don't need to be really dipping down into this. We can keep a solid foundation as long as we're feeling a stretch here through the right hip flexor. Doesn't have to be extreme. And then release out of this, releasing the hands, straightening through both legs. Bring your hands either to inside of the foot or on both sides of the foot. Straighten through both legs, bow over the front leg. So noticing here what happens to the hips when we press the left shin forward. Sometimes the right hip can start to open, so imagine drawing the left hip back, the right hip forward, pressing the left shin forward. and rotating that right heel to the ground. Trikonasana, your variation. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. And imagine pulling the pinkies back. Imagine drawing the feet in towards each other. Flip the left palm up, reach forward, up and back, reverse. And exhale, extended side angle. Ground through the back foot. Inhale, back to Warrior 2. Windmill the hands left then right. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Float through your vinyasa. You can always skip it. Press back to the hips, soft knees, travel forward to the front of the mat. However you like to do so. Ground through the feet. Inhale, rise up to standing. Option for a back bend. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, return back to Samastah into strong mountain pose. We'll add on to that flow. Inhale, circle, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step left foot back, left. Palms face down, reach the fingertips up off the blocks, stretch the palms away, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift high up onto the ball of the back foot. Exhale, release the hands down. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Lower down. Arch up. Press up and back, down dog. You'll notice I'm showing you different ways of vinyasa. So this practice is not going to look the same in everybody's body. Right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step right foot through between the hands. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, rise up. This time maybe you can go a little bit deeper in the hip, walking the right foot forward. Left knee comes behind the back hip. Bring the right hand to the right hip or a block. Or maybe you can find the floor. Left hand reaches up overhead. But notice here, if you're coming into a bit of a back bend here, keep squeezing the left glute. You'll notice there what I did was I set my hips down, and as I did that, I started to feel that arch through my low back to reach my hand to the floor. That's kind of the ego wanting to get into that position. And then release the hands down, tuck the back toe under, straighten through both legs. Rotate the left heel down, Trikonasana. Ground through the back foot. Inhale, rising all the way up to standing. Exhale, warrior two. This time, sinking through the left hip, right toes reach to the ceiling, coming into a tall Skandasana, and then over all the way to the front of the mat, right back into that high lunge. Exhale, hands sweep behind you, leaning over the front thigh, palms facing down. Float the left leg up. Try to not use momentum into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Palms are behind me here because I have a wall in front of me. Bending the front standing knee can help with the balance. Active back foot. And then soften through the front knee. Step the left foot all the way back. Release the hands down. Need to move the blocks out of the way. Step back. Lower down. Arch up. Exhale. Press up and back, down dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Step it through. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, left hand to the hip or to a block. Right hand reaches overhead. Release the hands down, straighten through both legs. Pyramid. Rotate the right heel down, left hand behind the left shin, right hand reaches towards the ceiling, Trikonasana. Ground through the back foot, inhale, rise all the way back up, right through to Warrior Two. Into a Skandasana, hands to heart center. Lower that right hip down. Maybe your left toes point towards the ceiling. My foot is not working today. Inhale, back to center. All the way into that crescent lunge. Palms come behind you. Facing down. Leaning over the front thigh, preparing for Warrior Three. Float right leg up. Squeeze the outer hips, maybe drop the chest a little lower than you think you need to go. And then soften through the back knee, release the back foot down gently, stepping the left foot back right through into a child's pose. Bring the knees together, toes to touch. Reach the hands forward. Inhale, crawl the chest forward, coming back to the belly. Tops of the feet to the mat. Reach the palms forward. Walk the hips back. Salambasana, inhale. Exhale, hands sweep behind you. Everything lifts up off the floor. Inhale, see if you can lift everything a little bit higher. See if you can get the feet a little higher than the head. Exhale, hold. Inhale. And exhale. Release everything down. Hands press to the sides, pressing up and back. Preparing for camel. So use your blocks here if you have them. You bring them right by your feet. And before we get into camel, I want you to make a choice of how many breaths you're going to hold here. 5 through 20 breaths. Once you have that choice, coming right up onto the knees, tucking the toes under. And you have a choice here, bringing the hands to the low back, lifting through the hip points. Actually, let's take your thumbs. Give yourself a thumbs up. Yay, got paid today. Bring your thumbs into your armpits. Lift the armpits up, so scooping the chest up, bringing your hands to your low back. This might be your camel pose today. And then making some choices here. Maybe start to arch forward. And as we arch forward, actually pressing down through the knees to lift. Keep the chin tucked under for now. Maybe your hands can find the blocks. And if your hips start to dip back like I did, that's okay. But see if you could press them a little bit forward, broadening through the collarbone. And another choice here, if it feels wise in your neck, open up through the throat. So even though I can bring my hands to my heels and my thumbs facing out, that is the position of camel. I'm going to stay right here on the blocks because that feels nice to me for my 20 breaths. And remember, a commitment is a choice that we just make again and again. And I hope you're counting because I'm not. I'll just wait for your cue. Oh, we're done now? All right. Slowly, slowly, mindfully. If your head is back, your head and neck are the last to arrive. Come to embryo pose, untuck the toes. Bringing your arms behind you. Your forehead can be on a block or on the floor. If you need a little bit more space, if this is too much for your low back, you can come into more of a traditional wide-legged child's pose, bringing your knees farther apart. If you want more support, knees together. So many options. Oh my gosh. I feel a little tired from all these decisions yet. I do. Decisions give me energy. Decisions give me energy. Now we're going to finish with a meditation. So slowly making your way back to lying on your back. You have the blanket here if you want to roll that up for underneath your knees, not your head, please. If you want anything underneath your head, I recommend just putting a nice thin blanket underneath the base of your skull or right around your neck, or just lying back onto a thin blanket. And you can bring your elbows, press your elbows, upper arm bones into the floor to lift your shoulder blades, walk them down. And then release the palms wide by your side. Allow the body to take up space. Connecting to the breath. If any of your body parts started to feel a little cranky during this practice, that could be an indication of where you store those memories of poverty, of not having enough, of lack. So send breath and light to those spots. I don't know if any of that's true, but it sounded good. And imagine what it would be like if you had no memories, if you had no past experiences. Who would you be? Would there even be an earth, a sun, a moon? Would there be a you? I invite you to stay here in this meditation for as long as you commit to. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Decide and stay. You may stay lying down, or maybe you come up to a comfortable seat. And when you finish this meditation and this practice today, you're now going to enter this identity of someone that has enough, someone that just got paid. Thank you for watching. Om Shanti, 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 Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Namaste.